what happened in Nigeria has brought a lot of attention to the matter of road crashes across the world, particularly within the African domain. In Ghana, we're dealing with this particular problem in a truly big way. We're told that in excess of 2,700 or so odd people died this year alone on our roads. And it is really, really troubling, especially as we celebrate the Christmas activities and then also the New Year, which is just fast approaching. A lot of things happen on the road that create a lot of problems for families. We lose, breadwinners. We lose husbands. We lose, wives. We lose doctors. We lose nurses. We lose journalists. All of them pass because of one irresponsibility or the other, or the conditions of the roads. I plead with you to ensure that wherever you are going, wherever you are coming from, please do your part so that you get to your destination safely, because it is always better to get in safely than in pieces. I don't know, Kakra. I mean, this problem with car crashes, yeah, it's for me, it's one of the quiet killers we do have in the country, and for some reason, although we saw a lot of action from the National Road Safety Authority much earlier during the year, it would seem that the drastic reduction we expected to see in the number of casualties on the roads, we're not seeing a marked improvement in that sense. People are still dying. Just 2 days ago, I saw a gory one. The pictures on social media, particularly troubling. And just yesterday, Nigeria, what happened to Anthony Joshua, bringing home the discussion about how safely we must drive on the roads as we celebrate our various activities during this festive period.
I mean, certainly I agree with you. I think that one of the major concerns when it comes to road safety or avoiding the carnage on the road comes back to the attitude of the various road users. And I emphasize on various road users because it will be simplistic to limit crashes to just vehicles or drivers. We all have a part to play. It is unfortunate that our indiscipline is most seen on the roads. You know, sometimes what I don't understand, and I don't exclude myself from the responsibility, is the why. I can't understand the why. You're driving and there's a vehicle in front of you. The road is clearly marked with the white stripes or the white lines, and you see somebody driving on the marking. You know, there's an innermost lane, there's a middle lane, and then there's the outer lane. You see people driving on the lines and impeding others from doing so. You see a lot of reckless driving as well when it comes to the part of drivers, unnecessary speed or speed that's not properly calculated. That's not to say that non-speeding vehicles do not also end up causing or also end up in road crashes, but some of the speed may be excessive and may not be maybe with poor judgment, maybe done with poor judgment. And then you have the motorbikes. Quite frankly, I've especially in this part of the world, I've never been comfortable with motorbikes on our roads. But we also appreciate the function and in recent times the service that they provide, for which legislation has been passed to permit its commercialization in terms of transporting people. But I think that a few years ago, I saw how motor riders in Togo and Benin, I went on a road trip and I saw how motor riders in Togo and Benin rode, and it was way more organized and safer compared to how we do ours here. You know, what I noticed in Togo particularly was that they were all clustered together in the outer lane, and they were also not excessively speeding, maybe trying to race each other. They were moving within a pace. So you know the way you have the bees move together.
Exactly.
That's how they were moving, and you have one person in front who would be making gestures to the drivers, indicating maybe they're turning to the left or right. I found it, and there was nobody telling them that do it this way, but I found it so orderly, and for me it showed not just their responsibility towards the road as citizens, but it also showed that intrinsically we can be disciplined if we want to. We don't need a policeman to stand there for us to stop when the light is red. In Ghana, motorbikers are often exempt from the traffic lights. When it's red,
by themselves, huh?
Yeah, exactly, they came with their own lights. When it's red, they don't stop. But when you go to nearby Togo and you see the discipline that motor riders or motorbikers exhibit, it's very impressive, and you can only wish that maybe perhaps there can be some training. I don't know, because we get tired of training people and who end up doing the same thing, but also some reflection on individual drivers to also prioritize their lives and the lives of those they share the road with. And then there's also the pedestrian. They are part of road users. We have a habit of walking respectfully. I don't know what better word to use. Aimlessly, sometimes on the road. You see somebody
is lost in thought.
There's a lot of jaywalking. They are crossing the road at places they are not supposed to cross. For example, popular example is the Medina, what do you call it, junction, where there's an overhead. There's a bridge that you can walk over. But you have, even on the N1, you see that happening. People holding the hands of their children, jumping over the medians. And so by extension, they are teaching their children how to improperly and dangerously cross the road. So I think that there's also a responsibility on the part of pedestrians. Do not, use the road, whether you're walking or you're crossing, recklessly and aimlessly and without any purpose. Be smart about it. Walk to a zebra crossing or a traffic light and do so properly. Use the overhead or the bridge instead of, if you're driving on, if you get to, what do you call it?
Is it on the Medina Road?
Yes, but I forgot it.
Okay.
So just use the appropriate means that have been given you. You hear complaints that it is too far. I never saw anybody get killed by walking, but I've seen people get killed by being knocked down by a speeding vehicle. There's a speed limit. If there's a speed limit there, you the pedestrian, you must be aware of it. Take a moment and read and understand the speed with which these vehicles are moving. Instead of expecting that, what sometimes they do, you're coming at top speed and somebody just pops up in the middle of the road, and the person is flagging you to stop without appreciating the speed at which you're coming. You're either going to knock that person or you're going to apply the brakes immediately, and somebody behind is going to. So we need to be a bit more circumspect and widen our thoughts about how we use the road. Merely not just limiting to merely your personal use. I'm just crossing, so I cross anywhere. Let's show some respect to the road infrastructure. It's taxpayers' money that was used to put all of that into together. Let's show respect for ourselves. We talked about that last week. Let's be empathetic towards one another in how we use the road. And I think that if we do, we'll have our challenges with road markings, improper road infrastructure challenges, from street lights not working, traffic lights not functioning, etc. But I think that largely, if we manage our conduct on the road, we take a certain responsibility. It's part of our it's part of our civic responsibility. We will see significantly improvement in the safety on our roads and the carnage and the loss of lives. We're always losing about 2,000 to 3,000 lives every year, as you talk about. Elsewhere, they're losing just about hundreds.
Exactly.
So if we watch our attitude on the road, I sincerely believe that we will see the casualties drop.
Beautiful. Akoto, is there a responsibility on people who sit in trotros, commercial buses, right? Commercial bus, we call them trotros and the other ones, to insist that drivers drive responsibly? Because I've seen situations where drivers have had to force, or mates have had to force passengers to get off buses because they were complaining about, the recklessness with which the driver was driving. And if people value their lives, must they not protest? Sometimes people, even if you you are concerned and you are raising
they'll
issues
fight you
with
in
it,
the
they will
car.
fight you in the car.
Yeah, but I think it's a mix of things when it comes to our situation.
Okay.
Because, look, I think one, the road infrastructure, as Kakra described, is not properly designed. And it doesn't guide the driver. Then there is also just the poor driving skills. So, for instance, you and I know that the speed limit on inner city roads is 50. But there are people who overtake.
Yep.
How are you driving at 50 and overtaking? But there are people doing 80. Under normal circumstances, you know that as soon as you hit a certain road, the maximum you can go is 50. But we are doing 80, 90, 100 on those roads. Why? Is it that we don't know? You understand? But in other places, if you hit 80 on a 50, by the time you are done, your text message is in or you've been stopped at the end of the road. So it's also just the general architecture one of our roads, which encourages jaywalking, encourages you don't see the markings on the road. So you are just driving. Basically, everybody's hoping that the other road user is sane.
Will apply common sense.
Yeah, everybody, you are just hoping that the person next to you is sane.
Shifting responsibilities.
Yeah, because if not, because sometimes I drive and everybody complains about my driving. And it's not like I am an ultra defensive driver.
Slowly, but
yeah, because I don't want any problems in this town. Because you can be driving and minding your business, doing all the right things. You know that this is a speed lane, this is the slow lane. Ghana, do people know what the slow lane is?
They don't know it.
When people are on the speed lane, they don't know which one is the fast lane, do they know?
No.
Every lane is a speed lane.
Generally, there's a problem with
if you are in a slow lane, you have somebody behind you honking at you that you should speed up. Why? So it's just a general lack of appreciation. Look, the other time, if you've noticed this, and most of our listeners who drive can attest to this, and perhaps they are also offenders. When you get to runabout, you give
way to the left. Traffic to
in Ghana.
Nobody will mind you. Traffic, you are giving way to traffic on the left.
You did it.
But it's a very, very specific, because of where we drive, because we are what? Right-hand drive country, are we not?
Yeah.
So give way to traffic to the left. Who gives way to traffic on the left in Ghana?
But that is what the requirement.
Yes, who does? To the listeners, I'm asking them. Most people won't. If you look, as soon as you even try to slow down, the person behind you is like, I don't know where the person who is also coming there. Look, it's just driving in Ghana is full-time warfare. You are at war with everybody, with the environment, with human beings, with other vehicles, with the road itself. Everything can kill you.
Wow.
Everything can kill you. So I am not surprised by
the
numbers that we have seen, which are
3,000.
crazy. And look, sometimes we tend to look at them as statistics, and so we lose feeling of what it means. 3,000 human beings. Look, there are weekends where we come back from. There are Mondays where we come back and we're doing the newspaper review, and within 3 newspapers, you've counted 200 people dead.
Yes.
3 newspapers.
That's right.
On the road, simply because a person wanted to leave point A to go to point B. And sometimes, like, I've seen, like, on Twitter and other social media platforms, people share those on the Kumasi road.
Accra.
I made a very conscious decision
Not to.
that if you are in Kumasi and you need me, either you are buying me an air ticket or we are talking on phone.
That's right.
I don't travel on that road.
It's crazy.
Last week, my good friend Rasta, Honorable Collins Adumakumensa, sent me a message. And he said, look, for those he's an MP, and he uses that road almost every weekend. And he says, when you make it,
You have to pray.
you go to church and just pray and thank God that, hey, or you go to the mosque and thank Allah, or whichever deity you worship, that you have made it. Because there's just so much chaos on that road. People are overtaking at points, the road is dark. There are trucks that are parked on sections of the road that are not supposed to be there. You know, we need to look at the road designs again. I have complained about it that, look, the way we design our roads does not sometimes I'm no engineer, but sometimes you use the road and it's like it doesn't take into account safety and the people around. Okay, so you end up having some of the incidents. Look, on the Kumasi road, for those who use it, is there an exit for trucks? So if my car, I had a car problem, where do I exit?
And go and park.
The car. There are no exits on our roads. So it's like you are just going. So as soon as you have a problem, you have to park
on the road.
On the road itself.
And you don't have a triangle.
And you don't have a triangle. Nobody, all those things. But at least if you had an exit, you know that, oh, there's this point. If I'm able to get here.
You can then
I can just use that to park and stay off the road so that other road users can go. But we don't have all those things designed into our road. So it's just constant warfare. Constant. Look, 2 months ago, I was walking on one Sunday, on my usual Sunday morning, on the Randolph Road. Look, there was a vehicle, and it's strange. On that road from the Gulf filling station at Dansmore Runabout to the West Link Road, that's at Congress International Church Junction.
Yes, the Church Junction, yeah.
The number of car crashes that happen at that junction, Sky, it will amaze. Look, in a week, at least we have 4.
Why?
In a week.
Why?
1 week, we have 4 at that intersection. Because people are just, and this is a road that you're supposed to be doing 30.
Because it's sort of in a community, isn't it?
It's residential. It's purely residential, left, right. There are 3 schools on that road. Look, there's a chap called Nyokai. His dog had moved out of the house and was crossing the road. Dude, a car just ran over the dog. The car was going almost over 100.
How? In an area that was to take
Yes. And I'm asking myself, this is an area where a child is supposed to be able to cross the road because it's a pretty small road from one point to the other. On a Sunday morning, where are you going? And here's the thing. Christian nation, religious nation that we are, Sunday morning on their way to church, overtaking on the road, driving 80, 90, 100. On the road, they're supposed to be doing 30 because they are in a hurry to get to church. So they'll kill the dog and go and beg God for forgiveness in the church.
That's unacceptable.
So for me, it's a mix of things that we need to do ourselves as Ghanaians and how we drive and pay attention. The enforcement side of things that but also I just think it's the deterrence in the road infrastructure that are simply not there. I think, look, Ghana, we just build the road and everybody is allowed to drive, not with regards to licensing or whatever, but if I get on a certain road somewhere, I know that on I-84, on this side of the road is this. The right side of the road is heavy trucks. So you won't see me on the right side of heavy trucks. There are certain intersections of the road you hit, you see clear signs, no motorbikes allowed on the road. Yeah. So you know that for the next 14 kilometers, you are not expecting to meet a motorbike. You are on a highway in Accra, and you see Pragya driving against traffic on a road where you are going maybe 70, 80. And then just out of the blue, you just see Pragya in front of you.
Coming towards you.
And you're supposed to react to that.
And how? Look, when you use the mortuary road, the beach road towards Jamestown, and you are climbing up, from fire service training school up. The old abattoir on the right, where you went to shoot your famous documentary and audio. That's lane. When you are climbing up towards the lighthouse, all you see are motorbikes coming in the opposite direction.
Against
traffic. That's all you see. So you are going in the right direction. They are coming like this. So you're asking yourself, what if I don't see you? Because you are not expecting, under normal circumstances, it is not normal that as a driver you are expecting to see a motorbike driving against you in that. So you are always either looking to swerve because you have to make some kind of allowance for that motorbike to pass. For instance, you get to Abosiokai. I'm giving you a lot of instances today, forgive me. Abosiokai. From Agbogblosi.
Okay.
I want to join the route towards the Zongo ICGC.
Yeah, that's right.
The way the interchange has been designed, I'm only supposed to look out for traffic on my right. Because at the roundabout, I'm not expecting traffic from here because it's a tunnel. So I'm turning straight into the curve and then I will join the road and then I go. So I look out for traffic on my right. That is those coming from Royal House, Kaneshie, who are also headed towards Kolebu, the Kolebu Road.
Yeah.
But because of what has happened there, now if you look right and you don't look left, you end up running into somebody because that entire section is a motorcycle station. It's an Okada station.
Really?
So you have the Okadas picking people up and now headed towards Agbogblosi. So they are coming against you. You are going forward. They are going in the opposite direction. So instead of just looking right so that you can make a turn left, now you have to look right and look left. So what if you turn left and
by the time you look right,
somebody is there? And it happened. Last time I almost hit a motorbike because I checked left. By the time I moved back to my right, somebody was just on my side. And that is where you also meet the and I will insist on this. Look, they need to do something. We don't say enough about the problems that these, and last time I said it and they insulted me, but I'll say it again. The Pragyas and the other ones, the ones that pick up the waste.
Okay, yes, the Bola people.
Yes, look, Aboboya, and the ones that carry the water, they use it to
tanker services.
No.
Sachet bags. So they load them with bags of
Yes,
water.
Yes. Okay. The MTTD and the National Road Safety Authority need to, and this is an idea, perhaps just say, okay, you are sharing the road with other road users. Because one, I need to ask, are the Bola vehicles, the people who ride them, do they have licenses?
Well, you would assume that
the vehicles have plates.
Well,
what kind of license?
Even if the plate is even properly registered.
What kind of license do they use? Because
include the DVLA then.
Yes, DVLA, because the police are always stopping us to check our licenses. I've never seen them stop those people to check licenses before.
No.
I've never seen them because it looks like when you drive the Bola truck, it's a special permit to just move into town. And I have a niggling suspicion that most of those folks don't ride with licenses. And you see, here's the thing I was talking about. You are on a road where perhaps you're supposed to go 80. That thing is on the road going 30. And then switching lanes as and when, because they're just looking for the most convenient place to turn. Two, they just stop anyhow.
Sometimes without tail lights.
No, they don't. There's no tail light for anything. They don't have mirrors because the general design of the thing they drive is such that the Bola
because it's a motorbike with a bucket. The Bola sits on it
and
with
they have
some
put
planks of wood. Exactly.
So they have no side mirrors.
So even if they did, they won't be able to see.
They are not able to see their flanks. So how is it safe to ride something where you cannot see your flanks?
That's completely
and they ride. So Road Safety Authority, DVLA and all those, I'm just asking, perhaps, if you think it's necessary, why don't you simply tell them, look, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., the Bola people, go and pick your Bola and stay off the route. If we see you after 5 a.m. or after 6 a.m., we'll have a problem with you. So that you don't take up, because Ghana, we've reduced everything to livelihood. So, okay, they must survive. Let's survive. So between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., the roads are free. Largely free. Okay. After 6 a.m., when regular vehicles are getting on the road, stay off. We don't want to see you. If we see you after 6 a.m., maybe between 6 a.m. and 4 p.m., you have problems.
Yeah, you see, while that is a brilliant suggestion, it raises another problem. How many people would want to pull their Bola or bin bags or what do you call it? The big trolleys that they use to collect the bins. The bin. How do they even call them? The ones that
The plastic bins.
Yes, yeah. We'll pull them out at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. I mean, you are going to inconvenience a lot of people. And I have an experience where you put those things out, somebody comes to lift it in the middle of the night and takes the bola, whatever, out of the way.
When back in the day, we had a waste company in our neighborhood. They zoned it. We had Liberty at the time, Liberty Waste. Liberty Waste will tell you, Thursday, we are coming for your waste between this time and this time.
So you keep it out.
You put it out there.
It's planning, really.
So because I have paid for the service, so I know that on Thursdays, every other Thursday, my waste bins go outside. After a certain time, they are picked up. Is that not what happens in other civilized jurisdictions?
I was in...
Because the collection of waste...
Is that not what happens?
These days, what he's saying, you would have experienced same... elsewhere, or even here, there was a time where
10 years ago. Now we've left it to the other way.
Exactly. So it's the waste collection has no structure to it. It's young men sitting on aboboyas with the planks of wood covering the four sides, moving around, blowing their horns really loud that we are here to
bola.
Exactly. And then they come, they take it, they transact. So there's no structure to it, unlike in the past where you have a truck, a proper fit for purpose vehicle come around and you collect, and I don't have to be there when they are collecting or transact, nor is the truck going around blowing its horn. That we've reduced. We've
lowered the threshold.
Exactly.
Because we say that we want to engage a lot. They said they wanted to reduce the entry barriers.
Not necessarily. I think something has gone fundamentally wrong. I'll ask a question.
Okay.
So, for instance, the person who lives at, say, an NCHC flat, forgive me, is it Raboboya that goes there to pick the refuse? No. They have the proper boiler truck go there.
The Zoom Lion one.
The refuse truck. Most of the planned estates in this city and other places, how come they are still able to get
those services?
But the other parts of the town,
not planned.
No, but I live in Danswa. Danswa was planned.
There's lots
of
appeal.
Kanesi was planned. Awudome is planned. Airport is planned. So do the Aboboyas go and pick up refuse from airport residential area? I do cantonments a lot, and you know why, but I have not met Aboboya on that route, or Pragia in those areas before. They get their refuse picked up properly. So why is it then that we somehow have left
certain
areas to the Aboboyas,
the vagaries of Aboboya,
and they move in? And you see, the thing is, what they do is they redistribute the filth.
Yes.
Because as they are going, they are just leaving the filth. They don't care.
They don't trap the rubbish properly.
There's nothing. There is no. They don't segment the waste. They are just picking things up. So
a funny observation I made.
Yes, talk to me.
That you see them standing on top of the pile of waste, and when people have bagged, they rip the bags and put everything together. So maybe if somebody bagged plastics separately from maybe kitchen waste, you see that they rip the rubber, the poly bags that the rubbish is in, and they put everything together.
So not to digress, I just think we in the new year, DVLA. Mr. Amaliba and his office and all those people,
and the assemblies,
perhaps give a time. Since you say we should share the road, give a time, because look, a lot of the accidents we also have are caused by those vehicles, by people who react to the unusual driving of those vehicles. To save a life, you end up killing yourself because somebody will just stop, improve because look, if I'm a new road user in Accra, my understanding of joining the interchange Abosiokai from Kaneshi is that, as soon as I climb over the top, straight to Graphic Road. Now I get over the top, and you are allowed to speed on that thing anyway, because that thing is like a 70 and 80 if I'm not mistaken. So they are going, and there is no bus stop It is not designed for a bus to stop.
Okay.
But somehow, the old section of the road opposite old MTN office on the right side has been turned into a trotro station. So the trotro stop there. So if as soon as you are from Kanesi and you climb and you descend, if you're on the right side of the road, if you are not careful,
you hit somebody.
You hit a trotro, because they will just stop to pick up passengers there. It is not supposed to be. You're just supposed to be able to join and go. So most people, as soon as they climb, because they know it, shift to the left side of the road to avoid any wahala. But I'm just supposed to be able to turn and go. Okay, so some of these things, if the assemblies, the DVLA, and all the people we've mentioned will just enforce a bit of the road usage rules in terms of you can't stop here. Just put up a sign that says do not stop. I think a lot of the drivers see the signs
but they ignore it.
No, they don't see the sign. If they see the signs, I think they will respond. But there are no signs to tell you that you can't stop here. You know, here we do the proper road signs sometimes.
No stopping.
Because the driving school, most of us didn't go. We don't understand the do not park is. So he will see the red with the cross and not even know what it is and go and stop right underneath it.
So how did he get his driving license? He's using TV license.
$1 question.
So maybe change the road signs a bit, make it a bit more visual for our purposes. So put a bus there and put the X,
the cross around,
the cross
over it.
That so that when the trotro driver sees it, he knows that a high engine now how, and then put the fine there that it is 1,000 cedis if you stop here. They will stop making. It will reduce some of the nonsense stops
we see around.
that we see. It will not end it because people are people. Somebody will still stop, but I think it will reduce the risk of danger on the roads that we see. So perhaps we just need a bit more support in that regard, because some of the routes, the Kumasi one, the Cape Coast one, that you are constantly on. So for me, like, I just made up my mind a long time ago, which is why I don't go anywhere. So I'll tell you the route I don't go on. Tema.
You won't go on it.
You don't call me to Tema.
You won't go.
I won't go. Don't call me to Kumasi.
Unless you are buying a ticket.
I'm buying a ticket. Cape Coast, there's no flight there. So I don't go to Cape Coast. Tamale. Serious. The last time
you went to Tamale.
And I'm not proud of it.
Yeah.
But I just have a fear
because,
of using those roads.
Yeah, because it's a whole gamble.
Yes, and I'm not ready to gamble with my life. I have just one.
Yes, it's a whole gamble.
You know, people will say, oh, but others use it. I'm saying, well, that is you. But I made a personal decision that, so since on the motorway, normally I would use if I'm going to Tema, I use the beach road.
Yeah, that's slower.
Yes, much slower. I take my time. 3 hours, 4 hours, I'll get to Tema.
You will get to your destination.
Yeah. I haven't gone to Kumasi by road since 2010.
Wow, that's a long time ago. 15 years ago.
Yes. I haven't been to Cape Coast since 2012.
Wow.
I don't even go anywhere. The furthest I go is Tuba.
Tuba Johnson. That's around Castle.
That is the furthest I go. If I get to Tuba North, then I turn. Simple.
Very serious matters. Your comments are welcome. 05399869996. I have a comment coming in. This one says, boss, another thing that's killing us slowly is the attitude of the police and how they induce traffic congestion on the Ofanko and Sawam Road under construction. Why? 10 p.m. to 12 midnight, people are in traffic at China Mall and Dubro just because the police erect their barrier stopping free flow. What's this? The road is under construction and their barrier narrows the road and delays us from moving. Like, can they feel the pain of people who have to struggle through the circle to Achimota congestion? So the MTTD, if you're listening, and I do know you are listening, please do something about that particular situation. Yeah, Kaka.
Yes, Sky, let me share a message from Apia Domako of CATS Internationals. It's quite a long one, so indulge me. Good morning, team. Even a conservative figure of 2,600 deaths fails to trigger national urgency. This level of loss should alarm every policymaker, yet the issue receives little attention. Even if we were using the WHO methodology in calculating road crashes, the figures would be tripled. Put the numbers in perspective. 2,600 deaths in 11 months equals about 173 minibuses carrying 15 passengers each. The same figure equals about 78 STC or VIP buses carrying 33 passengers each. This reflects repeated mass casualty events spread across the year. Despite the carnage on our roads, funds earmarked for road safety monitoring and enforcement did not leave the road fund. The road fund board itself was inaugurated only early this month. The police MTTD and the NRSA, that's the National Road Safety Authority, lack the resources needed for effective enforcement. With Okada now legal, enforcement demands will rise sharply. Without significant investment, fatalities will increase rapidly. Our road design also remains a core problem. Roads are built with little or no road safety consideration. Only after deaths occur do we add footbridges and traffic lights. And that's Pierre Adomako's contribution.
More comments are in. Let's take these ones, Kakra.
Yes.
Good morning.
Okay.
Okay, let me just deal. So I have one from my good friend from uni, fella. He's in traffic and he's just taking a picture.
Okay.
He's at Fiesta Royale and he just showed me the Abuboya with the baller truck crossing the red light, and there's a policeman standing right. Then the policeman has watched the Abuboya cross the red light and go.
The N1.
Yes.
The George Walker Bush Highway.
Yes, the Fiesta Royale Junction. I can see the policeman here. Yeah. And Abuboya, everybody has stopped, but Abuboya is crossing on the red. Anyway, let me read more. I agree with Godfred. The Pragel Abuboya will meet you in your own lane with highlights. It's sad. This is Mohammed from Bridge. Godfred. But these commercial drivers in the first place don't even read road signs. All they know is driving from one point to another. Good morning, Sky. To talk about roads, come and see the dust on the road from Gomoa Koshi towards Akwatsi towards Winneba. The contractor is not watering the road. This is wisdom from the area. I have been listening to your good discussion on road safety. However, I'm of the opinion that for good road safety, we need nothing but enforcement of regulations by committed police officers, proper system of licensing road, and the proper system of licensing road users. Continuous road safety education for road users, especially trotro drivers. This is Ejaba from Insakina in Accra.
Keep your comments coming in 053-9986-996, 053-9986-996. It's not a good thing losing a loved one or getting maimed. You know, I know people who have had to endure, repeated visits to the hospital, regrafting of parts of their body, surgeries have to be done to remove parts, other things added. It is really, 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 really painful. And some are going on medication for the rest of their lives just because someone was irresponsible on the road. So I beg you, as we celebrate, the New Year and then also the festivities associated with the Christmas, I know many of you go to parties, sometimes you drink and all of that. If you know that you are going to a party and you are driving, please avoid the drinks. If you know that you have taken in something, then transfer the car to someone who hasn't taken anything, which would impair his judgment, to actually ferry you home. But where you go, drink heavily, and then you are the same person moving people around, it becomes a problem. I beg you, we need you alive so that we can build our country. Go for it.
And I beg you, just give me a minute, We also need the police, particularly during the festive period, to check we are happy to have famous personalities in our country. We are happy to have them. But it does not mean that because we want them to keep coming, we allow them to misbehave. They are some of the worst offenders during this period.
Exactly.
If you meet the celebrities and their personalities and the rich ones who visit this country, and they come only for the 2 or 3 weeks,
and they misbehave.
The way they misbehave on our roads, Yesterday I saw our good music superstar Ashake in town. He was sitting on top. He was sitting on the hood of a G-Wagon, DV plate at that, with people on the four sides throwing money in town.
Sitting on the hood.
Yes, throwing money.
Wow.
If Richard Sky sits on the hood, of my car. And we will not make it from this our junction. The policeman here will stop us immediately. So, because we are Richard Sky and Godfred. So, why do we look on for, because the person is some big time and, we don't want to embarrass the person? Look.
Incidentally,
Ashake cannot do that in New York. He lives in Los Angeles. He's moved to Los Angeles. I have never seen a video of Ashake sitting on his Cybertruck, the hood of his Cybertruck,
and then
driving through his neighborhood, even where he lives.
You can't try that.
In Brentwood. I've never seen him. But he comes to Accra and he sits on the hood of, and some other person too met him there and was indiscriminately firing a gun because Ashake is in town.
Firing gun.
And the police are looking on. You see, this thing we do where weddings, funerals, parties in December, is like you are allowed to break
the law,
road rules. I don't get it.
You see, this matter that you've raised, I remember that when, incidentally, what's his name? Anthony Joshua came to town for a big fight organized sometime in June, I think June or July, right? He came, grabbed a motorbike, at the airport, and then without a helmet, and then was zooming off, displaying. I had cause to actually raise concerns about it. Of course, Ghanaians, well, why are you the only lawyer in town? Without a helmet. Because the law says that you are subject to specific things when you are on the road. Imagine if something had happened. In other countries, you can't get away with that. A visiting U.S. official went with an official of the U.K. to go and do fishing somewhere that he ought not have gone to do fishing. The guy was subject to what? The law, fine, imposed because he had contradicted what the provisions of the law say. But in Ghana, anything is possible to a large extent. Let me take you to the line now and speak to Abraham Amaliba, who is the acting Director General of the National Road Safety Authority, to ask him a few questions about the crashes we continue to see on our roads. What special plans are in place to ensure that this particular festive season, we do not see a rise in the numbers? And then also, with the passage of this new legislation to allow for motorbikes to operate lawfully on the roads by moving people around the city and beyond, what exactly is the plan to ensure that we do not get a lot more of our people killed prematurely? Mr. Amaliba, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and greetings of the season to you.
Same to you, and let me say that you guys are doing a great job, and we at the National Road Safety would continue to partner you to ensure that our roads are safe.
Thank you so much for that vote of confidence. Now, let's talk about the numbers. The last time we checked, in excess of 2,600 people had died by the close of September. What's the situation now if you have the latest numbers?
Well, the situation keeps increasing. The situation hasn't changed. The problem has to do with enforcement. And so, as an agency, we are partnering the MTTD to ensure the enforcement. But with the new amendments that came with the road transport, the Act, that new amendment would ensure stiffer punishment and tighten road safety protocols. So, for instance, the percentage of alcohol in drivers has been reduced from 0.08% to 0.05%. Then also you have children below the ages of 12 downwards are not allowed to sit at the front seat. It used to be children below the age of 5, but now we've increased it to 12. And so some of these changes would help, but again, we need to tighten the enforcement regime.
Now, when you talk about children below the ages of 12 downwards, they should not sit in front. Um, what does that mean? Does it mean that if you have a child of that age, the child must sit behind while you drive? Or when you are sitting in the trotro and you have a son or a daughter, you are not to sit in front?
So the front seat, the passenger side of the driver, is not supposed to be occupied by a child below the age of 12. But even if the child is at the back, you need to provide a child restraint system that can strap the child to the seat. And so in the past, until this law was passed, if you were 5 and above, you could sit in front. But because we are tightening the protocols, if you are now 12, you can sit at the front seat. Unless you are 12 and above.
And you are assuring us that there will be strict enforcement of this new provision?
That is so. The MTTD director, POP Wabu, I've had discussions with him. And we are rolling out massive enforcement next year to ensure that this law is strictly obeyed.
Now, another thing is the lack of seat belts in our trotros and vehicles doing long journey, as we call them in local parlance, from Accra to Kumasi, Accra to Aplau, Accra to Cape Coast, Takrady, all these stretches. You have many buses, people go on them, make these journeys, but you realize that in some cases it is only the drivers who are in seatbelt or people sitting in front. But you go into the vans themselves, people just sit without any system to restrain them should there be a crash on the road. Are we going to see some movement towards enforcing the law as to ensure that even trotros do have seatbelts?
So the Amended Road Traffic Act also talks about seatbelts. And so the new amendments does not just talk about the availability of seatbelts, but also talks about the quality of seatbelts. So Standard Authority has some standards regarding the kind of seatbelts your car must have. Beyond that, there was a law that was passed before I even came into the system to ensure that trotros also have seatbelts and ensure that people are strapped whilst they are in the seatbelt in the car. I think that we need to go back to that law and look at it. You've actually drawn my attention to that particular provision, and I'll look at it and see how it is going to be implemented. Most of the trotros don't also have the seatbelts at all. Don't forget that some of the trotros come in as vans, and then our people here will then convert them into trotros, so the seatbelts will not be there. That is a good thing you've drawn my attention to, and I think I'll be looking at it with my people.
Now, there's another concern having to do with Aboboya. Before I come to that, though, there's a question here coming in from Togwi Dobu, who is listening to us and wants to know why it would seem that there has been some silence or total silence on these new changes that we're talking about, and that how do you expect to roll out enforcement without proper or thorough education of the Ghanaian people as to what these new provisions are and what they are required to do? How do you respond, sir?
No, the road fund, or now called the Road Maintenance Trust Fund, would release our funding to us this year. So in January this year, next year rather, in January next year, we'll roll out a massive road safety campaign throughout the country. And that will go into the Easter festivities from January to the Easter festivities. As part of that campaign, we will use that to also educate the population. Apart from that, we are also waiting for the passage of the law. The president has not assented to it. Beyond that, there's also the LI which is sitting in Parliament and will need some 21 days. And I'm sure that will eat us to mid-February or end of February. So we intend to do that education, and it will come out soon.
Good. Now, in the meantime, what are you doing about the flood of aboboyas and pragias we continue to see on our roads, collecting rubbish, in some cases moving against traffic, endangering otherwise law-abiding citizens who are using the right side of the roads?
I'm sure you are talking about their non-compliance with regulations, but I'm not sure you are talking about we removing them entirely. They are playing a critical role. Most of the things that our agencies are not able to do, they come in to fill the gap and take rubbish. So it is about the lack of respect for road regulations. Because their activities are illegal now, together with the Okada people, state agencies are unable to, approach them and give them safety education like the National Road Safety Authority and then maybe DVLA as well. Because we are now regularizing them and making the activities legal, we would now be able to deal with them. And don't forget that under the new law, they are going to be operating under cooperatives, so unions. And so it will be easy to identify an Okada, an Aboboya that misbehaves because you'll be identified by your organization. As it is now, they are just individuals engaging in their trade, and sometimes tracing them is even difficult. So with the unionization, they would be given some road safety education within their union, and then also road safety education from the National Road Safety Authority. They will have leadership, and it will be easy to trace a recalcitrant motorist or driver who does not obey the rules. So the new law would give us that backing to be able to do some of this. So there will be changes as we implement the new law and its allies.
Yeah, but the fact is that we've had laws banning or criminalizing or making their activities offenses on our statute book. For some reason, the authorities, including your institution, for some reason did not intervene to ensure these laws were properly enforced. And people are raising issues that, yes, merely changing the law would not bring about a new appetite to deal with the problem. What assurances are there, or what steps are you taking to ensure that beyond merely changing the law and saying that you intend to roll out a big education campaign, you are actually going to do what is fit and proper to ensure safety on the roads?
You should know that we all tried to ban these activities. We all tried to ban this Okada, Aboboya. But the more you press on with the enforcement, the police have been arresting them, you know it. The more you do that, the more they are operating. And they are operating, and we are patronizing them. You are patronizing them. I'm patronizing them. Journalists are patronizing them. They jump onto them. Police is patronizing them. What does it tell you? It tells you that they have come to stay. It tells you that they are filling a void. Your transport system is not up to speed. They are filling a void, but their activities are dangerous. So let's deal with the dangerous aspect. In some communities, you and me come from rural areas. In some communities, the roads are so bad that the vehicles don't fly there. It is this Aboboya that will lead you to the various hinterlands. So they have come to stay. We can't do anything about them. But now, the regularization, and I've told them in a meeting, I've told the Aboboya people and the Okada people, the regularization or legalization is not a blank check for them to misbehave further. It tells them that there's going to be a responsibility on them. Now that there are laws that govern their operations, what it means is that when you are enforcing the law, they will now come to the realization that they have been regularized.
Yeah, but Mr. Maliba, I mean,
The
it's
law
one thing.
is there to regulate them.
Yeah.
People do what you inspect. So because they know that now there's a law regulating them, and they know that the government or the police or the national road safety is inspecting their activities, they will be up to speed.
Mr. Maliba,
We back that with training. We back that with training and all these things. You see a new Okada rider in town when these things roll out fully.
you see, one of the biggest problems we have with these guys is their use of highways in many cases. You do know that they can only travel so fast. If you are supposed to do, say, 80 on a particular stretch, the motorway, for instance, you find these vehicles, for want of a better expression, this motorbikes, aboboya, pragia, carrying bola and some other things using these same roads, in which case they become a hindrance to vehicles that should be doing around 80, 70. These same bikes change lanes as and when they want to, intervening with, or sort of leading to all kinds of things happening on the roads. Are you saying that there is going to be a new appetite to deal with this problem decisively merely because a new legislation is enforced, when all the while the law has been that you do not have to use these things on our roads?
But if you don't train the person, you put him on the road, won't he be changing lanes recklessly like that? Eh?
But
then also, the regulations, when they come out, will limit the movement of, they'll be operating within a certain radius. So you can no longer have an Okada man riding from Kaswa all the way to Tema. You will be limited to various jurisdictions, and the assemblies will help us demarcate those jurisdictions for them. So that is one. And I've just answered your earlier question by posing a question to you. The man is not trained. He doesn't know road signs. He doesn't know road regulations. He's not been licensed to do commercial transport. Now there's going to be license for commercial transport. There's going to be training before the license is given. There's going to be continuous road safety education for them. And that's what I'm saying, that we are looking forward to a new dawn when it comes to the Abuboya and the transport, the Okada system. You didn't train the man. The man just saw a loophole that there are rubbish somewhere, people are not picking them, and can do this for a living. And he has jumped onto his motorbike. And so now, it's not going to be the case. Now we are going to go through the rudiments and ensure that everybody understands road regulations.
And so would this also affect the Aboboya people who collected rubbish? Would they also be licensed for the purpose of collecting garbage and then also using their what's the word? Their machines to move rubbish around the capital and beyond?
Yes, so this law is going to deal with motorbikes, tricycles, and quadricycles. So the four-wheelers, three-wheelers, and two-wheelers.
Okay,
all of them.
Okay, before I let you go, sir, tell me about the special plans you have to ensure the Christmas and the New Year activities don't result in greater loss of lives across the country. Is there anything specific you're doing?
When you scan through during the Christmas period, there hasn't been so much accidents. I can't remember anyone within the 24th, 25th, 26th. This is because we have partnered some institutions to ensure that we put out some education out. We have also issued statements. The problem was with funding, and that is being resolved now with the formation, with the establishment of the board for road fund. And so this period we've not seen so much accidents. In Nigeria, we just heard about Joshua, stationary vehicles are also a cause of so many accidents. And the new law has also provided that coming next year, every vehicle owner must subscribe to a towing company, which means that once your car breaks down, you have 30 minutes. If it is in the city center, to call your towing company. You are not bound to subscribe to one particular towing company. Or if there are a lot of towing companies and you can subscribe to them. Insurance companies can also provide that same service, so it's allowed. Then if it's on the highways, you have 1 hour within which to call your towing company. Failure to do this, then the National Road Safety Authority will come and remove the stationary vehicle and then surcharge you for the removal of the vehicle. So these are the exciting things that are going to be in the LI.
It is one thing calling your service provider. It is another thing the service provider responding altogether. Is there a requirement as to the time frame within which a service provider is supposed to respond to a distress call from a subscriber?
Yeah, so within 30 minutes, you must call the subscriber and he must respond. So within 30 minutes, the vehicle must be removed in the city centers, in the regional capitals, within 30 minutes. Within 1 hour, the call together with your response are within the 1 hour. And your call and the response for city centers is also within the 30 minutes. That's how strict we want it to be. And then road safety will be standing by with a towing company. Failure for these two provisions to work, then the third provision is road safety will not come and tow it away.
Am I to understand that on the long stretches from here to Kumasi, from here to Takrady, from here to Tamale, you would have these service providers located at maybe strategic towns and locations in order to help with this effort?
Yes. Together with road safety, we know the hotspots. There are in local parlance, they will tell you that this particular place, every time there's accident, we know the hotspots all over the country. So station also our towing vehicles along those stretches, so that if these two provisions don't work, the third one, which is the road safety one, will then remove the vehicle. We need to do this because stationary vehicles kill a lot of people.
Okay. Since you are rolling this thing out next year, how many of these vehicles have been imported already into the country? For you, the authority, and then also the service providers. Do we know?
I know that Road Services Management Company, you see them with their yellow, and I think they've partnered the MTTB. They have vehicles which are even packed. They imported them. I think there was an earlier provision under the NPP, which was stopped. That law, I don't know if it was passed or it was not passed, but I think there was a hue and cry. The hue and cry was that why do we all pay to one particular company? And so that company still has its vehicles intact. I am aware that some other providers, because it's a private sector, I'm not able to tell. But for us, we are partnering the private sector to get some of the vehicles for our regional offices as well as the national office. And we want to work with Zonda. They have the facility, and we are still talking to them to see how we can get those vehicles. We can either partner them or we take the vehicles ourselves.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Amabiliba, for talking to us this morning. He's the head of the National Road Safety Authority, Ibrahim Amaliba, talking to us about what they're doing to improve the safety to improve safety on our roads, and new policies that are coming into effect next year. So if you're a trotro driver or you do long journey, as we popularly call it, you have to note that going forward you will require the use of seatbelts for even your passengers. Beyond yourself, the passengers in the van or in the vehicle would also have to be properly strapped. If you are a car owner, the new requirement is that starting next year you are to subscribe to a towing service provider to ensure that if your vehicle stops somewhere because of a mechanical fault or whatever it may be, a car crash or whatever it may be, you have to call your service provider. If you are within Accra, you have to call within the 30 minutes, and the service provider would also have to respond within 30 minutes. If you're outside Accra, you're sort of going to Kumasi, and maybe your vehicle stopped at Nkoko, you need to ensure that you reach your service provider within 1 hour. He also has to ensure that within that hour, he's able to move your vehicle to a safer location. And if you're unable to do that, if I'm to properly interpret what Mr. Maliba told us, then the National Road Safety Commission or authority would intervene with its own vehicle to move your vehicle, and then you'll be surcharged. So these are some of the new things happening. And then also the folks who are using Aboboya, Pragia and related things to move rubbish around and also carry people from one part of the city to the other and beyond. There are new regulations coming into force, licensing and all of that. Godfred, have you had your issues addressed properly for you?
I wish I could say so, but I wish I could say so, but we've heard Mr. Maliba. So we will wait for the law to be enforced.
Next year is not.
Until then, Aboboyas and Pragia should continue breaking our side windows, our side mirrors, scratch our cars. You see?
They said they are providing, they are filling a gap. They said there's a gap in the market. He said that you and I use those services. Of course, I don't use.
They are illegal.
Yeah, they are illegal.
He admits they are illegal.
Yes, that's right.
So how is something that is illegal providing a gap?
Yeah, because people need those services. I just have this, comment from Ruth, for instance, who says that she feels that the Aboboyas are reliable. They come every day to collect her rubbish, and she's happy.
Does Ruth know where the Aboboyas dump her refuse?
Well, that's a question for the gods.
So Ruth, they might pick it up from your house in Danzuma and dump it at your office in Abusiokai. You might go to Abusiokai and say, why is my area so dirty? It is the refuse they picked from your house in Danzuma, which is clean. That has been transferred to your office area in Abusiokai.
Because there's no proper regulation.
You see, we sacrifice too much for convenience in Ghana. And that is our problem as citizens. So far as
it seems to be working,
it fits me, I am happy.
As to how it affects other people,
nobody cares.
That's why I was saying that there's no structure to how we are collecting rubbish now. Because what is the assembly doing? If we interact with these men who ride the Aboboyas and collect, the places that they go to, the areas that they go to, do they have any interaction with the local assemblies there, whether it's the municipal or the district? Or, like he said, they've seen a gap and they are filling that gap. Everybody seems to be doing their own thing. If it were properly structured, then the likelihood that they will become a nuisance or on the road or a danger on the road would have been curtailed, because you would expect that there's a road safety desk at the assembly, and so in engaging these people, in giving them licenses or whatever, and permitting them to come on the roads, they will do that appropriately or through the appropriate measure. Get the person trained, get the person a license, get the person a proper vehicle to collect the rubbish.
It's a similar gap. Since we're talking about filling gaps, the people who collect scrap, are they not filling a gap?
Of course. I mean, they will argue that.
Do we know the problems those people cause in Ghana?
They are removing.
They are the ones causing all the problems in town.
They remove great things they shouldn't remove.
Because I would say if they are not there, who would pick up the scrap? But there are proper ways of doing that, which is why at the moment they are able to steal railway tracks, steal culverts, covers, and nobody can deal with it, because normally, if it were properly regulated and licensed, you can trace because the receiver of the scrap has to justify the source of the scrap.
Exactly.
So if the receiver sees a culvert cover, immediately
flag the police.
You flag, because this is not something that is available as scrap. It doesn't even qualify as scrap. But they walk in town freely, cutting those things through town. Sometimes with Aboboyas, sometimes with the traditional truck or wheelbarrow, whichever one. they fill a gap. But is that the kind of gap we want filled? They are filling gaps, but in doing so, they are stealing as well. So you see, it's not just about there's a refuse problem, and so Aboboyas have come in to solve that problem because they can come to my neighborhood and collect it. Yes, on their way to picking up the refuse at your house in Kuntunse, they scratched Kakre's car at Insawem. They broke a side window at a Suboy. Somebody dodged them on the road and fell into a ditch
or killed someone
on the road. All within that movement.
That's right. And
for that
redistributed
the rubbish. For that Aboboya to get to your house to pick up rubbish. What kind of bargain is this?
Godfred, even if
what kind of bargain is this?
Even if let's go with it. There's a refuse problem. Is it up to the Aboboya, the individual who is solving their own problem, to pick up a motorbike with a bucket behind it and go around and pick people's rubbish? No, the state must do that.
Yeah, so that is where policy failure comes in.
Exactly.
For some reason, we've not been able to forge a garbage collection policy, right, that responds to our peculiar needs and how we've planned our communities. And also people complain, it's too expensive getting these big trucks in, and we undermined the service provider in the space. All kinds of questions about, is Zoomline able to do it? Matters came in, and then contracts, we say we are not going to renew them. And then we see the city dirty. So then these guys then intervene to say that, well, if nobody, Papa Nyesha, Boni Nyesha, yeah? So if the people who have the license to do it, they are no longer doing it because of contractual issues, then why don't they also get some vehicles moving to these places and collect? So as you notice, it would seem that many of these boys do not even have the license to use these machines in the first place, but they are on the road. Yeah. That is why they will be riding against traffic and hope that you avoid them.
Just my quick reaction
before we wrap up.
Actually, my quick non-reaction to your interview with the head of the National Road Safety Authority. Like Godfred, after listening, I don't think I have anything to say. But I don't want to say that I'm disappointed, because I don't probably want to sound like in Spanish we say agua fiesta. No.
What does that mean?
Pouring water into somebody's party, etc. I don't want to come in as an individual with doom. What I will say is that Ghana is notoriously known for passing amazing laws that don't get enforced. The biggest gap in this country is the enforcement of laws, enforcement of regulation, policy, etc. It's nice to hear these things, but when we get there, so every time it says government to enforce, government to this, we are going to this, 2026, we will do this. And in my however many decades of being here, I'm so tired of the predictability of the amazing laws that we pass, but the gaping lack of enforcement. And that for me is the problem. And Godfred said, until then, we are going to sit and watch the havoc that will be created on our roads. And while at that road, I just did a quick Google check on the top killers in Ghana, and as with non-communicable diseases as the first, such as stroke, heart attack, infectious diseases, HIV, malaria, road traffic crashes is the third thing that kills Ghanaians, period.
It is crazy. There's a greater chance you die on the roads than die with something else. 053-998-6996. Let me take this comment coming in from Enyonam, who says this issue is very, very prevalent on the motorway and Community 25 road on the way to Wenya. I apply this road and I can confidently say that there's never a day that you don't see spoil track on the motorway or the Citi Brothers area or Community 25 road. This is necessary to deal with the problem. Talking about the service the towing services that we'll be using starting next year, hopefully. And this one, before I go, says it's coming in from Alistair, who says, great questions, but isn't it better for the state to get private sector players on specific routes to work with the police to remove breakdown vehicles from the road? In Senegal, when a vehicle breaks down on the highways, because there are cameras monitored by the police move in first and then have the vehicle towed by a private sector company to a safe location at the owner's expense or through the owner's insurance company. Secondly, where will these tow trucks be sent? We need to get serious as a country. We are constructing new roads without all these safety provisions. A great one there coming in from our Leicester.
A reckoning, you see, because the reckoning is being had by our neighbors. Somebody just sent you a text from Senegal.
Yeah.
And our listeners are all over the place. The reckoning must happen. You see, because we assume that, everybody is the same. Ghana, dirty December. Yes. Ghana experience, something. Charlie, our neighbors, the practical steps Ghana might be happier, wealthier, perhaps, but quality of life. Our neighbors have figured it out and are taking steps. We are still not taking those steps.
Yes, sir.